Hi, everybody. Welcome. Today's guest is someone who holds a very special place in my heart. I first met Kerri Victorio when she joined the 2023 Gloria Gemma She-Rose class, and since that time, our bond has only deepened. As an alum, Kerri continues to show up, not just for the women in the program, but for me personally, with unwavering support and kindness. In this episode, Kerri opens up about a deeply meaningful relationship, the one she shared with her father. Her story, Mystery Ride, is a beautiful tribute to those spontaneous moments of connection that leave a lasting imprint on our hearts. It's a memory she carries with her to this day, and one I know will touch yours too. Please welcome the warm, the wise, and wonderfully resilient Kerri Victorio. Hi, everybody. I'm sitting here in Rhode Island having a wonderful time. We came up here for a SCART class for the class of 2025, and I thought, well, since I'm here, maybe I could get together with some of the original She-Rose class members from the class of 2023 and have them listen to their original recordings, because many of them, we didn't even have a podcast back then, but we did record their stories, and now this gives us the opportunity to play what they recorded 2 years ago, but then also sit down and say, wow, how has life changed since you've recorded that? So with that said, I'm sitting here with Kerri Victorio, and you're my last interview of the day, but how are you doing? And I was, by the way, we got to see you spend all day yesterday.
All day yesterday we got to spend together. I was actually your last interview 2 years ago.
No way.
As well.
Okay, that's bizarre.
It really was. Yeah.
Well,
It's crazy.
I think it was meant to be.
Maybe meant to be.
Save the best for last.
Right.
Okay, sorry, everybody who's listening. But I think I said that last time, too, that we saved that.
Yeah, I think we did. And it was a long day.
It
was late. It was probably 10 o'clock at night. It was very late, and we had 30.
Huh? I don't know if everybody realizes who's listening to this, but I will record 31 podcasts in one day. Every 20 minutes, every 30 minutes, we cycle in a new person just so that we could capture all that content. And then about once a week, we play those on our podcast channels. So it's hard to catch up. I mean, by the time some of those stories play, it's several months after the time it was recorded, but the stories are always still so wonderful. So, Kerri, what we're going to do right now is we're going to press pause on this recording. I'm going to have you listen to what you recorded back in 2023, and then we'll come back and catch up.
Okay. Excellent.
We'll see you guys on the other side. Hi, everybody. I'm here with Kerri Victorio, who is part of the Gloria Gemma Foundation class of 2023. We're here at Alexandra's Boutique for a makeover photo shoot, and I'm just curious how the day went for you.
It was an incredible day. I didn't start till 5, and I'm kind of glad because I was able to do everything I could earlier in the day and then come here and just focus solely on this. I feel like a princess. Everybody was supportive and kind and gave me words of encouragement, and I'm in a really good mood and a really good place. It's been a good day.
I love that. Well, this is going to be a podcast that plays, we don't know when, but just for those listening, Kerri represents the 31st person of all day interviews. So I'm wearing a shirt that says champagne.
Yes.
And you are about to join me in a glass of champagne.
Absolutely.
Toast.
I'm ready.
We have to make it through your story first.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask you, with the Gloria Gemma and our She-Rose program, we started with SCART and then story crafting, which you're going to read your story from that. Was there a takeaway that has helped you through this process that's made you grow or learn?
The writing has been extremely special to me, and it's become very raw. It became very raw in a lot of the weeks beyond my cancer. I've always said that cancer is just a chapter in my book. It doesn't define me. But I didn't realize until I started doing the writing that there were other things in my life, like other chapters in my book that needed to be addressed. So the SCART was very difficult to do emotionally. And I had a lot of tears, and I love sharing everybody's story. But doing the writing, I felt like I stripped down the layers of who I am or why I am who I am. And I want to continue writing. And my goal would be to write a book.
I love that. Who was your coach?
Pam.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Mississippi Pam.
Yes. Well,
Yeah, log cabin. Yep. Shout out to Pam. I will go visit her in her log cabin someday.
I love that.
I will. That's my plan. I've never been to Mississippi.
And if you come that far, come visit me in Louisiana.
Absolutely.
Okay? All right.
Absolutely.
We're not too far from there. Well, without further ado, we are going to let Kerri Victorio read her story called Mystery Ride.
Mystery Ride. I learned to ride a bicycle when I was 5 years old. I never had training wheels, but I did have my dad's voice in my ear as he ran behind me holding my seat. He would say, "Keep your head up, don't look down. Focus straight ahead, breathe, pedal. Hold it steady, watch for bumps." I could do all that until he let go. Then I would lose my balance and fall, but I never gave up. I got back on my bike and we tried again, over and over. Same words, same encouragement, same failure. Until one day I did it. I rode my bicycle without falling, without him holding on. My dad was not there to see it, but his words were there, repeating in my head, and I could not wait to show him I could ride a bicycle when he arrived home from work. My childhood was adventurous, fun, and full of love. Camping, hiking, singing around campfires, barbecues with family and friends, birthday parties, sports, activities in school and church, and Disney World. My parents divorced when I was 10 years old, and my world flipped upside down. So much changed, but through it all, I kept my head up, told myself to breathe and keep moving. I did that through high school and college. Played sports, kept up my grades, I held a job and had great friends. Relationships meant broken hearts, but I kept moving, hoping for something to change my path, my ride in life. I became a wife, then a mother, then I became a cancer patient. I was only 34. My boys were 2.5 years old and 6 months old. In a blink, I watched my world flip upside down again. Cancer changed my path, my ride in life. The ride was scary, full of fear and uncertainty, but I stayed the course and I rode through it, kept my head up and looked forward. I continued to ride through the next few years, focusing on my health and my boys. 6 years after my diagnosis, I rode straight into my dad's cancer diagnosis, then my mom's cancer diagnosis. Hearing words repeated in my head, I kept moving forward, holding steady, until I hit the biggest bump, my father's death. 5 days after he died, I flew home, I walked into my kitchen, and I had an aha moment with my marriage. I knew I had just hit another bump. I believe my dad was whispering in my ear, again, running along beside me and holding onto my seat, reminding me that I am strong, to stay the course and keep pedaling. The pain of losing him combined with my aha moment turned into strength and a guiding light that I never expected. I gained emotional muscle and clarity and realized that I was stronger than I thought I was. So I took my strength and jumped back on my bike and continued to ride, realizing that I was worthy of happiness. It was heartbreaking and heart-fulfilling at the same time. I was reminded of my strength when I wrote my dad's eulogy and shared it at his 2 funerals. I knew it would be one of the hardest things I would ever do, but I didn't hesitate. I followed my heart. You might be thinking double the pain, but I took a deep breath and told myself to keep my head up, don't look down, focus straight ahead, breathe. I knew once I got the first few words out that I would not cry. I followed my heart, and in doing that, there was less pain and no more anger. In those 2 incredible moments of sharing the eulogy that I wrote to honor my dad, I found a comforting peace. Like a gentle hand rested on my shoulder, a hand that no one could see but I could feel, or maybe it was him holding onto my seat. On my 13th birthday, my dad planned a mystery ride. He drove the car while I had to tell him to turn left or right and point out local places, then ask if any were the surprise destination where my birthday gift would be. I suspected I was getting a bike, but I couldn't remember the directions to the bicycle shop. We drove in circles and ended up at Dairy Queen. Needless to say, I was disappointed. After ice cream, we got back in the car and he said, "Now let's go get you a bike." We drove straight to the bicycle shop. I picked out a light blue 10-speed bicycle that I still own today. I smile when I look at this bicycle with all of its original parts, the wheels and seat, and worn-out wrap on the handlebars, the old metal pedals. I see the pretty blue color of the frame and how the frame is designed with angles to hold all the parts together. There is an old lock wrapped tightly around the upper frame bar, missing its key. I had so many adventures on that bike, but now I see myself in that bike. I used to see myself as weak if I rested. Imagine the bike on the ground. Or if I leaned on someone or something, imagine the bike leaning on the kickstand. So I would stay upright and move forward to hold strong, but it was exhausting. I've learned it is okay for the bike to stop, rest, and lean. It is okay for me to stop, rest, and lean, both being strong no matter the position. The frame is the heart of the bike, the strength in the middle, holding all of the pieces together. I am the frame for many people in my life and for things that have happened while I ride. As the frame, I am centered in the present moment, accepting the hug from the lock, and I'm finding peace in stopping, leaning, and riding. I see the back wheel as my past and the front wheel as my future, and I hold onto both wheels tightly, following my heart as I continue my mystery ride. I still have no idea where I'm headed, but I know where I've been, and I know my heart and my strength are guiding me forward into the future. I keep my head up. I don't look down. I focus straight ahead. I breathe. I pedal. I hold the handlebars steady. I watch for bumps. I keep my balance, and I do not fall, even though my dad has let go of my seat.
I love this. So you said you want to continue writing.
Yes, I do.
What's the next chapter going to be about?
I'm not really sure.
It's a mystery, right?
It's a mystery. I am a storyteller because I've had a lot of things that have happened to me in my life. And when I share that with my friends or people that I meet, so many say, you need to write that down. Like, that's crazy. That's happened. Or, so I think the book I want to write is going to be all of my adventures and maybe where my mystery ride is leading me, but definitely where my mystery ride has already been. But I want to just get as many things about myself on paper so I can share it with my kids or my family. So maybe it'll never be a published book, but it will be something that I have. And I found it to be very therapeutic just to sit and brain dump. And I never thought I had it in me. I never thought I had it in me. And every week, Pam will probably tell you that, my writing coach, every week I got more and more detailed and more descriptive. And everybody in my group was like, we can't wait to hear what Kerri has to say. Although I couldn't wait to hear what they all had to say. But I found it comforting to share things I've been through and how I got through it, and where I am. And, because of that, good and the bad, the ugly and all of it. So maybe initially it'll just be brain dumps of whatever's on my mind that day. But I think I could eventually piece it together in a timeline and share it with whoever wants to read it. And a few people from my group, including Pam, has already said they would buy my book.
Of course. And
so we'll see.
I just want to thank you so much for going on this ride with us.
Oh, gosh. It's been incredible. I just can't thank you guys enough for creating this program.
Well, thank you so much.
And pushing us to that uncomfortable spot to pull things out of us, because I'm still growing. But I worked really hard every week because it made me feel so good.
Well, you've all come so far together, starting off as strangers and going through such incredible growth, and the outcomes, the paintings, the stories, the friendship, the camaraderie, these beautiful portraits. I just have loved watching all of you blossom and grow, and can't wait to
absolutely incredible. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to follow people in my group, follow the next group, maybe help out. Yes. I think this whole project will somehow stay with me and open up other doors and opportunities, and maybe I can help other people.
I love it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, where do we start? Oh my gosh! First of all, you're such a great guest to have on. Your interview is amazing. Your storytelling is fabulous. I've heard the story before, but it's been a while, and to re-listen to those metaphors that you used are just very, very strong. But why are you tearing up? Tell me, what caused you to?
Well, I'm laughing too because I'm happy. Gosh, I know the story. I've read it hundreds of times, but to hear myself read the story, and I have taken a journey since then. It's been 2 years, and there's a lot of things I can tell you that I said I wanted to do that I already have begun doing. Oh. So that is an incredible accomplishment, to go back and have that hope or that dream or, those goals, and to see some of them actually happening. It's really incredible. I guess that is why I'm tearing up.
So when you hear yourself, do you hear a woman who is so worthy, and are you thinking yourself, I'm all right. I mean, what are you hearing?
I actually am hearing that. There are many days that I don't think of myself in that way. But somebody may comment, actually just yesterday. So just to let our listeners know, I had said I wanted to help with this program in the future, and I have been honored to be a volunteer at SCART for the class of 2024, and yesterday was the class of 2025. And in attendance was my best friend and roommate from college. And to hear her just share with me how incredible she thinks I am. Now, we're best buddies, so we love each other. But for her to say, I watched you interact with people and you're a natural, but for me, it was a way to give back. People came and helped in our class of 2023, yourself, Debbie. I think you had a friend, or Debbie had a friend.
Oh, yes.
That came to help us. But we didn't have any alumni because it was a new program. So to come back and be an alumni and give back, every bit of myself to help somebody else was really, I guess, a hope that I had of mine 2 years ago. And you have helped make that a reality for me. And I want to continue, to do that. So to listen to it, there is definitely a moment, like you just said, like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay as in a health way and like in a health reason and mental reason, but like, I'm pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like I'm not a psychologist, but I've been watching the reactions of the ladies today, listening to their stories, and every single one teared up. And I'm thinking, I wonder, once you get the information out of your head and then you've read it in print, but then to hear your voice and to just almost be removed from it, but go, well, that's me. Like, I'm the woman that can inspire somebody else, right? By sharing my story. But that was part of the program that you created to put us in a position to do that. Yeah.
With that little nudge. That gentle push, like that gentle loving hand that was like, come on, you can do this.
Yeah.
Like, tell me more about who you are. Let us help you figure out who you are or what your bigger purpose is. So, yeah, listening to it, there's certainly moments when people will give me a compliment and I think, I'm just doing what life threw at me. But then there are moments, like you just said, where I'm like, I'm doing good. Like, I'm still on my mystery ride, but I got my head up. Like, I'm confident now. You're fulfilling a really amazing need, for me, because when I fly in, just knowing that I have you to be beside me and that you kind of got it down, like the things I need, it means the world to me, because there's a lot that happens in a first of all, the setup of the SCART class, then the 3-hour class, and the tear down. There's a lot of details. We're running the whole time. I don't know how many steps we've been in, but we're moving the whole time. And then, of course, I don't know if you were the same way yesterday. Did you go home just like, whoa, what did we just listen to? Yeah, I went home and like I had this piece of regarding the fact that I volunteered and I helped these women, but I did stop and I was like, wow, like there's so many other people out there that, need the help that this program provides, but also just needs us to volunteer, needs us to hug them, a listening ear, bring them wine while they're having their, they're doing their SCART, or, grab them a tray of food, which I was doing with paint, but just to be in the moment and just, I slept so good last night. I had this comforting peace in my heart and in my soul, and I can't wait to learn more about these women and see how they grow.
I know.
To add to another opportunity that, Lisa, you have given me with the class of 2024, I did the interviewing last year for those 22, 24 women that came through. And
which I thank you for again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, and I thank you for the opportunity, because that was another opportunity for me to give back and be part of this program, because so much was given to me. I want to be able to help, somebody else. But that was another day that was probably 14 hours.
Yeah.
It was very long.
Oh, yeah.
But I still walked out of there and I thought, I'd do this again tomorrow and I'll do it again the next day. I mean, maybe I need a break, but like I would do it again just to help, someone else. So,
yeah. If somebody says to me, oh, you interviewed 31 people in one day, one after the other, but it probably is my favorite thing to do, because to be able to sit down with somebody who is willing to open up, and I guess, that phrase that people say is that it's nice to be seen. I feel like this program, when women get up, they're scared to talk. Like yesterday at SCART, you could see some of them are like, oh, I don't want to get up. But then they start talking, and I feel like for some of them, it's the first time that they've really been given an opportunity to just say, hear me,
Yeah.
This is where I'm at, and I just need a hug. It's like nobody really wants anybody to feel sorry for them. They just want to be like loved.
Like you said, like seen.
Yeah, seen. Like,
Yeah,
this is
scary as it was.
Yeah.
But like, this is my moment to stand up here and be seen. And that's just step one in this process.
Yes. And to get past that of like, okay, now that I've said it, did anything happen that was scary after that? No, what happened after it was that you were immediately embraced with a group of strong women who wrapped their arms around you. I mean, yesterday was very, very powerful for me, and it always is, but a great group of ladies. And I always, like when I was talking about the philosophy side of things, where people enter so scared into these programs and so afraid of the unknown, so afraid of going deep inside of them to dig out the sadness, the trauma, life experiences, but then to watch them just face it, and then when they come back as alums like you are, and they're just they're so different.
They're so different.
Completely different. They leave, I don't want to say like, I always say they come from victims to victors, because in a way they come in almost like so lonely and so scared, and then they come back and are like, we are badass.
Right. Like, look at me.
Yeah.
Look at what I did. Look at what I accomplished.
I did it, and you can do it.
There was somebody who came in yesterday late, and I know you probably had already started the class, so I'm not sure if you had noticed, but she came in tears late because she did not have she just couldn't leave her house. And she knew that Maria would call her. And she pushed herself out the door, and then she said she sat in her car because she was crying and didn't want to come in all red-faced. But she did make her way in and kind of just squeezed in at the end of the row, and as you would do in the beginning demonstration. So I went over and just like gave her a hug, and I was like, are you okay? And my friend that was there brought her a water, and we just talked about how she was feeling in the moment. And she's like, I do not want to do this today. I don't want to do this, but I am committed, and I said I got to do this. But she's like, I'm not going to talk at the end. I don't even think I'm going to paint. And she didn't even know where to start because she had missed the introduction, as every time she went to open the booklet and the homework, she was having a difficult time. So she'd close it. Oh, wow. But she had looked at it the night before, and then when she looked at it again yesterday morning, she was like, I can't do this. But she put her best foot forward, and I was so proud of her. And this is somebody I did not know prior to yesterday. So throughout the day, I kept checking on her and giving her, like all the ladies, like people did for me, just giving them some positive words. And that looks great. And how you doing? You need more wine? Are you okay? Did you eat? Anything like that. And she gave me the biggest hug at the end, probably 3 or 4 before she left. And then I learned a little bit more about what her particular journey was over this last year and how she's feeling about herself. But she said she couldn't have done it if it wasn't for the push from the program and Maria, but also to have, me there. I happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody, I don't need
She could have slipped right in and none of us had seen her. I just happened to be right there, and she caught my eye. And she left here, with her head up, and her cheeks were not all red. She just had the biggest smile on her face, and she was so proud of herself when she left.
Nobody didn't share yesterday, so she got up.
Oh, yeah, she got up and shared. Yeah, she got up and shared. She did her painting. She embraced it. She did everything.
Well, the painting's all in the other room, so as soon as we're done talking, I want you to go over and show me.
Okay, I'll show you.
Yeah. I mean, anybody who volunteers to come to these events to help, I really hope you are hearing this, that sometimes, it's choking me up because sometimes it's one sentence that you say. You could say, I was there for 6 hours. I really didn't do much. But then you don't realize that maybe you said one thing that meant the world to somebody who was there.
And I actually did yesterday.
Yeah.
And had no idea that could happen, was going to happen, actually did happen. I just was myself because I've been there. And I had told her I did this 2 years ago. And it took me a very long time to look at my scars. It took me a long time to take photos of them. And then even to identify, it was part of the homework where you're identifying emotions with color. And I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But I did it. And now I can say I did it, and I can share that with somebody else and say, you got this.
I guess me and Maria are bullies, right?
Yes.
Well,
no, absolutely not at all. No, but it's because you design the program and you know the path that people can take on this program if they put their all into it. And you know the reward that they're going to have for themselves at the end.
Isn't it weird that someone could be faced with being told, you have cancer, you're going to go through these surgeries, this radiation, this chemo, but they're scared to come and paint.
Yeah.
They're scared to share their story, but they were strong enough to go through,
to just go through it. Yeah.
Everything else.
So now they're learning that they're strong enough to really go through it.
Right. Like it's really in your head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can change that mindset and say, I can do this.
Right.
If I can do this, I can do anything. Because I mean, battling cancer, that should be your ticket to ride.
Right.
Right. Any other decision. Right. For me, you know, I'm not saying that would allow me to bungee jump off a bridge, but
I might consider skydiving, though. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. So, you know what we didn't talk about real quick? I want to ask you, how are you doing since you've gone through health and everything else?
Yeah, health-wise, I'm doing great. It's been 2 years. I've since have had some heart problems probably associated with chemo.
Did you have radiation?
I did not have radiation. I only had chemo. I had the Red Devil and some other chemo, but I started having issues with my heart. I did have a heart surgery last May of 2024. So but I'm almost a year out from that, and I'm not on meds. I think I'm in a really good place emotionally. Actually, I know I am in a very good place. But it has definitely been a tough 2 years. But with cancer, I'm doing good. I'm almost 17 years out, which is kind of crazy. Don't do the math, because I think I told you how old I was when I got diagnosed.
The math I'm doing is that your kid now, your baby is now 17 years
My baby is now 17. Yeah, and he's graduating from high school in 60 days.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And the older son will be 20, and he just finished his Army Ranger training. So It's been quite an honor. But I did want to just add one more thing, if we're doing okay here on time.
Doing great.
I had forgotten that we had talked 2 years ago about me wanting to write a book.
Yeah.
And I've kind of always said, I'll write a book. I'll write things down. So haven't written the book yet, but I did write a chapter for a book.
Yeah.
And it's been published, and it's on Amazon, and it was a program through the Gloria Gemma Foundation. So it's about a 15,000 word chapter. It's longer than my mystery ride.
15,000 words.
Yeah, it's a long chapter, but as Pam would say, my coach would say that I just write and write and write. But I did another program here, and so that's my first step. I had promised my dad that I would write a book about our cancer journeys. But then I used to joke and say, no, it would only be a chapter. I'm going to write a whole book about my adventures and my journey. So that is next. So I am a published author now. So that was step number 1.
You're really good.
I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. I started writing a book, and I'm gonna tell everybody I cheated a tiny bit, because what I did was I voice recorded just my thoughts, and then I uploaded it to ChatGPT, and I said, help clean this up for a prologue. And it was all my thoughts, but it was really clean and organized. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, now I think I can do this, because I think it's overwhelming, the idea of sitting down but I have to some people a little cheat there, but with AI, they're not writing my story, but they're helping me organize my thoughts. And
like an editor would.
Yeah, exactly. I have my little digital editor, but I really loved everything that you said in your story from 2 years ago, and I am so glad that you're still helping and part of everything.
Yeah.
One last thing.
Okay, go ahead.
When you were here yesterday with the ladies, and some of them may be listening right now, what would you say to them at this stage of the journey of the She Rose program that would be advice now that you're 2 years out?
That I'm 2 years out. I would just tell them to embrace the journey. Let their tears flow if they need to. Have your bad days if you need to, but just get back up and just embrace the next step in the process. Don't think too far ahead. Don't think about what that essay needs to look like in a book or what you're going to look like in that dress. Just take 1 week at a time and just embrace the journey. The program was set up specifically for a reason, in this order for a reason. Just, have your moments, your good moments, your bad moments. Just embrace it and know that you will come out the other end of the tunnel and the light will be shining. I promise you. I promise you that.
That's great words of wisdom from one of our GOATs.
Yes.
We say the greatest of all time, class of 2023. Listen, that's not to say that other classes haven't.
Oh, absolutely not. It's just nice to be a part of that new program here.
Yes.
And then to see it grow. Yeah, and that it is working.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I've met so many people, and I tell them about the book and just how it changed me. And I don't know, I just have it at home, and it's like a little power strength that sits there on a shelf in my office.
Absolutely. Well, maybe you could give me an autograph since you're published author.
Probably can.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and you have a great day. Thanks for stopping.
Thanks, Lisa.
Catching us up on what's going on. I can't wait to continue following you.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's story. I wanted to give you a sneak peek of what to expect next week with my guest, Kelly Gilheeney, who is part of the Gloria Gemma class of 2023 up in Rhode Island. As I have mentioned, I had the opportunity to revisit some of the ladies who I worked with in 2023 to get updates on what has changed in their lives. Kelly is a woman whose courage will move you and whose growth will inspire you. When Kelly sat down with me and listened to the story that she wrote 2 years ago, she said it felt like an out-of-body experience, as if someone else had written it. That's how far her healing journey has come. But life threw her an unexpected turn, and after 13 years of being in remission, Kelly is now navigating the shock of being re-diagnosed with breast cancer. And yet, through it all, she continues to rise. This is more than a cancer story. It's a story about rediscovery, resilience, and the power of rewriting your narrative, even in the face of fear. Please don't miss this powerful conversation, and I look forward to seeing you next week.